Hello everyone. So there was a question on the community today about blocking issue creation if condition is met. Now, I want to spend maybe a few minutes on the question, and I will also talk about the possibilities. So the question is that we want to block the issue creation if a condition is met. Now in Jira, to block or to restrict people from creating an issue, you have to use the permission, especially for the creation part. For example, you may want only 10 people or 20 people or people who are part of a group or people who are part of a role to be able to create an issue. You can do that with the help of permission. Ideally, or a best practice is to basically use a role or roles so that you have multiple role or roles added to that particular permission, and your project admins, project managers, or basically anyone with project admin right can add people to those roles to give others right to create an issue. Now, if you're wondering whether we can do it using workflow, so if you look at the workflow here, so there is a transition, create transition, and in the create transition, if you compare it with other transitions, there is no condition. So this is basically controlled by the permission, not really the workflow itself, because you can't really, if I have the permission on the project defined by the project permission scheme, I should be able to create an issue. However, you can check something like I might not be able to actually create the issue because I will be prompted with something, but you can definitely add a validator, not really a condition. Now, other thing is that if you look at the question here, this person is trying to basically add a condition uh, uh, on the create to do transition. So there is, let us say, another transition, and you want to check something, and that something is not very straightforward. For example, I'm looking at this condition, and by the way, this person is trying to not use any marketplace app or plugins, and this user is on Jira Cloud, so important to know. So we have to basically explore what we can do natively. The other thing is that it says the condition should be something like this, like maybe a JQL, project is equal to BPO, and created is greater than blah blah blah, and something else. Basically, the check is JQL. Now, if I open one of the transition, and if I look at the conditions, now usually, I mean, if you're on server, you can do a lot of wonderful things, but if you're on cloud, you're limited. For example, I can see here that we do have a lot of permissions, but some of these conditions are actually coming from either, let us say, script runner, or maybe JSU. But if I look at the question here or the description of the condition, it is a JQL, but we are talking about project is equal to something and date greater than something. And then we are talking about checking a field value in another field value, something like that. And to answer your question, what you can do is if you're trying to do something a bit more complex, you can look at something called as user is in a custom field, or user is in a role, or user is in a group custom field, and you can also combine it with value field. So if you want, of course, you can have multiple conditions, but to be honest, it is not very easy natively to do these things in Jira, because even if you add a condition, you can probably do, like, you can combine conditions, but you can't really have logic in your conditions. If you're on data center, you can definitely write scripts using a script. Now for Jira, you can write your own app. For example, I used to do it. I used to do that a lot. Not really anymore, because now I prefer to use script runner, at least on data center. But I would say just rethink. I mean, if I have to solve this problem, I would try to understand the business objective or the goal, or what exactly are we trying to do here, because there might be a workaround, but it is not very simple thing to do straight away without using an app. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. Thank you very much.